and you don't mind getting it for the best price. So do what the pros do. Get your good lean cuts of beef at Price Chopper. Like the Chiefs, a Kansas City tradition. Price Chopper. Best food, best price.
On Current Affair, weekdays at 4:30 on TV4.
Could be a day where the defensive units take center stage. When you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs defensive unit, well, Dan, they're a big play defense, and they take the ball away from the opposition with a great deal of regularity.
Well, they do, Joel. And the last 2 years, Kansas City is plus 46 in turnover ratio. That's far and away the best in the league. But the thing is, their offense doesn't turn it over. Guys like Christian McCoy pounding inside, but we're on defense is where they really make it happen. Guys like Derek Thomas, they fly around, strip the ball from quarterbacks, get fumbles, pick off passes. It's just hard to keep the ball out of this defense's hands.
Denver has turned it all around this year defensively. Their cornerbacks are healthy once again. Their #1 draft choice out of Nebraska, Mike Kroll, leads the AFC in sacks. And their strength really is up the middle, where they've got some big hitters.
Well, it'll have to be today. But the thing is, their defense inside is very strong with their safeties and linebackers. But the thing they need to do today is get turnovers. Last week, they got 0. And they felt like they'd let the offensive guys down. So today, can Carl Mecklenburg and that bunch on defense get the ball for John Elway?
Well, it seems like whenever they get the ball into the hands of John Elway against the Kansas City Chiefs, he spins some magic. He did it again in the first meeting between these two teams 4 weeks ago. It was a 71-yard pass to Mark Jackson. That proved to be the difference. It set up the game-winning field goal for David Treadwell. A little under 2.5 minutes left in the contest. And Dan Reeves in the individual matchup with Kansas City. Well, he has owned Marty Schottenheimer, whether Marty's been at Cleveland or Kansas City. As you can see, Denver has taken 4 of the last 5. They won that game 4 weeks ago at Mile High, and 6 of the last 8 very, very close affairs. Denver has won the opening toss. They'll put Derek Russell back deep. And with Russell, it'll be defensive back Alton Montgomery. So the rematch from 4 weeks ago, a sold-out show at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, and there's another flyby.
Well, that's not good news for Dan Reeves. The last time they had a flyby here in Kansas City, Derek Thomas had 7 sacks. So if anybody doesn't want to see the planes go by, it's that bunch over there from Denver.
We are underway at Arrowhead. And it'll be Montgomery from the 5. Montgomery with great blocking out in front. All the way to Kansas City territory. Down to the Chiefs' 40-yard line. 54 yards on the return for Alton Montgomery.
Well, Montgomery does a great job here. The wall sets up to his right, so he gets over there and follows it up through the seam. Now, right here, Derek Russell, number 85, will be his escort. You'll see Russell just keeping the defender out of his way, letting him get up the sideline for a lot of good yards there on the opener.
So from the 40, Elway and the Broncos ready to go. He keeps the plays. You see that left wristband. Those are the plays. So many formations as well for Elway to deal with. So he puts Clarence Kay in motion. Gaston Green. Nothing available over on the left side. A yard, and that is it to the 39. Offensive line, a quick group up front, and a group that has grown in size over the last couple of years. Anchored on the right side by all that experience of big number 76, Ken Lanier. And in the backfield with John Elway, the former Ram, Gaston Green, Robert Perriman, the former Patriot. And it's Young and Jackson, the wideouts, and Clarence Kay, the tight end. And when they go to the 4 wideouts, Derek Russell comes into the game, along with Ricky Nattiel. 2nd and 9. Quick one for Elway. And the tight end can't hang on. Reggie Johnson. It would have been enough for the first down. Defensively for the Kansas City Chiefs, a very, very quick group, and even faster on their home artificial surface. Smith, Saliamua, Moss up front, Martin, Randall, Hackett, and the incredible Derek Thomas at the linebacker position. And in the secondary, it's Lewis, Pearson, Porter, and Duron Sherry, the free safety who had a pick last week. The first third down of the contest for Elway out of the shotgun, 3rd and 9. Pressure. Is it a sack? Yes. Saliamua. The big one out of Arizona State in his 5th season, a 300-pounder. Did he ever get in the backfield in a hurry, Dan?
Well, Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday, our guys like to play on turf because they're quick. You'll see Salamura just swim through the guard center gap there. I mean, this guy for 300 can really scoot on this carpet.
Punting situation for Mike Oran and the Broncos. And it's Troy Stratford, the former Dolphin, waiting back deep, angling it towards the sideline. And it goes into the end zone. Well, there is a flag back at the original line of scrimmage. 45-yard punt, but only a net of 25 yards for Mike Oran. The referee is Bob McElwee in his 16th season as a referee in the NFL. And what a boost for that Kansas City group. The defensive unit coming up big after great field position for Elway and the Broncos on their first series of the day.
Ineligible downfield on the kick. 79 kicking team. That penalty is declined. First down.
So it's declined by Schottenheimer and the Chiefs. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. The offensive line, a massive one for the Kansas City Chiefs. Second-year man Tim Grunhard anchors it in the middle at center. In the backfield, Rick DeBerg, Okoye, and Jones get the start today. Thomas and Barnett, the wideouts, and Jonathan Hayes, the tight end. First down from their own 20 when they go to 4 wide. Burton, McNair, and Harry come into the game. It is Okoye. And straight ahead for close to 4 yards. Defensively today, the alignment for the Denver Broncos. And they have a good deal of team speed on their defensive unit. Carricker gets his first start of the year. Cragen and Holmes up front. Fletcher, Brooks, Mecklenburg, and Kroll, the linebackers, and the strength of this defensive unit. Braxton and Henderson, the cornerbacks, and Smith and Atwater, the safeties. Plenty of experience back there with Dennis Smith.
Well, the safeties are great big guys. They play like linebackers, and they have to against Kansas City's offensive running attack.
Second and a long 6. Play action for DeBerg. He's got Rob Thomas, and it's complete into Denver territory. 40 yards on the reception.
Well, DeBerg had a little bit of pressure. He went with the play action. That is his forte. They like to hand it off, and then all of a sudden he'll fake that handoff. Okoye goes through the line. By this time, the safeties had sucked up inside. He has all day to get the ball back outside to Thomas. Here, you'll see Atwater bit on that run fake. That's why he wasn't able to get over on top any quicker.
And as you can see, Steve DeBerg is so great with the play action. Our cameraman was biting on that play action fake as well. 1st and 10, 37 of Denver. Okoye to the 35. 2.5 yards, and that is it. Christian Okoye, for some reason, has never been able to get off against the Denver Broncos. In 6 games, as you can see, not even 200 yards and only a 3-yard average.
Well, Joel, some of the games that he's played against Denver, he hasn't been 100%. He was injured last year a couple times. But the thing about Denver defense is they seem to get big when they have to play Kansas City. They know they're going to be in for a physical pounding, and they just say, hey, we're just going to accept it, and we're going to get after you.
Second and long. Okoye. Not much on the left side. Inside the 35, close to the 34. It was funny when Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday, we asked him, can you account for the disappointments Okoye has had previously against Denver? He said, you know, I've heard Denver Bronco players say to me, it's a funny sense they have going for them in a game against Okoye. They feel like they know where he's going to be.
Well, it's an offensive structure that if Okoye's in there, when he's in there always with a blocking back, because he's a lot better going through the hole when he can follow a fullback. Word will go through and kind of chip away at the hole and make sure that he's got a seam where he can get up inside. But, you know, that's the thing about Okoye. He likes to run inside between the tackles.
3rd and 7 out of the shotgun to Bird. With time. And it's intercepted. Braxton down the sideline. And the offensive lineman gets him. There's a fumble at the end of the play, but it still belongs to Denver. I said Braxton, it was 24, not 34. Wyman Henderson coming up with the pick. The lineman saves the touchdown, though.
Well, we'll take a look at this. You'll see Tosh run just a little square out here. Right there, the corner makes a great play on it. Henderson never really bid on that push-off. He knew it was going to be an out. He goes ahead, he gets up in front, makes the pick. And then this is great hustle by Grunhard, the center. Now, he's running down one of those 180-pound cornerbacks, though. This guy can run, too.
So twice now Denver has had the ball, and twice they've started in Kansas City territory. The pitch for Gaston Green. Flag down to the play, and so is Green at the 19-yard line. 4 on the carry for the former UCLA Bruin. What's the flag all about, though? It is a hold against the offense. And will it be on the tight end, Shannon Sharp?
Holding. Number 81. Offense. 10 yards.
We'll watch Sharp here.
Still first down.
Now, at the right of your screen here, you'll see him come out. He's blocking the force man, Pearson. It doesn't look that bad to me. I think today's game is going to be won by the players. I ought to let these guys play. That wasn't, I don't think that should have been called, Joe.
So first down all over again, but 1st and 20 now. Back at the 33 for Elway. Greg Lewis, the only one in the backfield. The delay for the former Washington Husky. Forget it. Not even a yard on the carry for the rookie. Opportunity to look at the ITT 10-minute ticker. And the Redskins trying to clinch a playoff spot already with a 7-0 lead early over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And nothing else of the offensive variety so far in the early games. Almost 5 minutes gone by in the first quarter at Kansas City. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. 2nd and long. 2nd and still close to 20. Movement on the line. It looked like that count by Elway got the Chiefs offside.
Well, it looks like the nose guard, Sally Mua. No, someone on Denver pulled up a little bit early. Well, Sally's got an excuse when the coach gets on him about jumping. We'll take a look here. Crawford Kerr, the left guard on the right of your screen there. The last time they tried to pass the ball, Sally Amua had beaten him with a real quick swim to the inside. There, Kerr was going to slide block, and he was just trying to make sure he didn't get beat again. So just a little bit early on.
So penalties killing the Denver Broncos early. It's been a game that has seen a number of big plays already. And now 2nd and better than 20. Steve Sewell. Their 3rd down specialist has it on 2nd down, refuses to go down. And he's to the 26-yard line. 12 yards on that reception. The hit made by Kevin Ross, who gets the opportunity to get back in there.
Well, Kansas City opts for a 4-man rusher, and the offensive line does a good job giving John time to dance a little bit, then go ahead with his hot receiver. Sewell just on a little flare out there.
Sewell leads the team in receptions now with 30 as they go to their 4 wide out set. On 3rd down and 13. Elway has time, and he's got a receiver, Derek Russell, for the first down, I believe. Yes, inside the 15. So Elway gets it done. And he had to get it done with 25 yards for that first down.
Well, Kansas City's got 2 fine corners in Albert Lewis and Kevin Ross, but they're both coming off of injuries of some sort, and Elway told us yesterday he's going to try to work on them. Here, you see, he just goes to Derek Russell. He's pushed Kevin Ross off the ball so far. Is an easy completion.
1st and 10 outside the 12. Counter delay. Doesn't work for Greg Lewis. No gain on that carry. Dino Hackett, the first one in there on the stop.
Now you talk about defense, team speed defense. Now here you'll see the long trap. It looks like it's a pretty good play right there. But watch how many red shirts get over and make contact with the ball carrier at the line of scrimmage. Some guys get blocked, but hey, if you don't watch out, they're going to be right there at the point of impact, and they're going to come in a bad mood.
It's 2nd and 10. That's 4 carries now for the Denver offense and only 3 yards on the ground. Elway with pressure just dumps it away. Derek Thomas in the face of John Elway. He's 2nd in the AFC in sacks with 8.5 coming into the game. 2nd to Mike Kroll of the Denver Broncos.
A lot of people talk about sacks and how important they are, but this is just as important. Here, what you get is pressure. Quarterback hits and pressures. That causes a lot of bad plays, and that sometimes is overlooked. Everybody wants to talk about sacks there, sacks there. That pressure is a big thing.
Dime package in there now for the Kansas City defense on 3rd and 10 for Elway and the Broncos. Scoreless thus far. 7:34 left in the first quarter. Thomas again gets the pressure and a sack.
We talked about sacks being important, and I think you can see right here, this is one of the plays that can turn games around. When you got a guy like Thomas, he'll come around. You'll see him at the right of your screen. Harvey Salem, the 3rd down left tackle pass blocking specialist, had no chance there. You talk about getting guys in their home field advantage area. Playing on turf is what Thomas loves. He can turn that corner all day on it.
It's a 37-yard field goal attempt for David Treadwell. And he splits the uprights as the Broncos capitalize on the interception by Henderson, picking up 3 points and the lead over Kansas City.
The creators of the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, 1991 Motor Trend Import Car of the Year, proudly present the stunning new Mitsubishi Eclipse for 1992. Because nothing livens up a family like a little sibling rivalry. The Eclipse from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
Wouldn't it be great if your blind date, Rachel, turned out to be Rachel Hunter, the international model, and you had a romantic dinner at the beach with beer, really great beer, like Keystone Light, and things went really well. So you had Rachel build you a beach house, because it turned out that Rachel was a great little homemaker. Cold-filtered Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottle beer tastes in a can.
So what's left to do?
Gonna shingle in the roof.
I'll do that in the morning.
Wouldn't that be great?
Ironically, as camcorders get smaller and lighter, they've become harder to hold steady. And when your hand shakes, so does the picture. That's why this Panasonic Palmcorder camcorder has digital image stabilization. It can hold the picture steady even when your hand shakes this much. And unlike the other compact camcorder format, the Panasonic Palmcorder is VHS. So its tapes can play in your VHS recorder and the millions of others out there. The VHS Palmcorder from Panasonic.
Now at Little Caesars, Cheeser. 2 pizzas with extra cheese, up to 4 toppings, and free crazy bread for $8.98.
Teaser.
First quarter offensive problems continue for John Elway and the Broncos. Offensive attack, 9 games without scoring a first quarter TD. That only touchdown came against Cincinnati as Treadwell gets ready to kick it away. Harvey Williams, the deep back for Kansas City. And don't forget, Kansas City has started both of their drives, or rather Denver has started both of their drives in Kansas City territory. Williams from the 6. And the quick one from LSU. Their first-round draft choice takes it to the 30-yard line. Well, that's where the Chiefs will have it for the second time offensively when we come back to Arrowhead Stadium with the Broncos up on top by 3. So there is a timeout of the field, and we'll be right back to Kansas City.
There's a big sense of pride in owning a company. I think customers have noticed the change in the company and the change in us. We've got this 24-hour hotline in case something happens while you're out on the road.
If you're in a hurry, we've added extra buses, get you in and out fast.
We want to make sure that our customers see that we can provide them with the type of service that they expect and deserve.
We love to make people happy. That's a part of our business. Keep you coming back.
We want to see them back at our counter again, many times. So why rent from anyone but an owner?
Not a wagon, not a van, but whatever you're dragging, Expo can. Introducing Mitsubishi Expo and Expo LRV. Got some stuff with a lot of people? Expo seats are 7 deep. Well, got some people with a lot of stuff? LRV is more than enough. Not too big, not too small. Available with all-wheel drive, they'll haul you every day or on a getaway. Expo and Expo LRV. We call them sport wagons, but they're whatever you want them to be. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Starter. Look for the stars and you'll find Starter. By Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now. By Old Spice Fragrance and Aftershave. Cool, crisp, and unmistakably masculine. Old Spice. And by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
They are out in force this afternoon, and we got a break with the weather. It was cold and wet all weekend long, but all of a sudden, sun is breaking through, and the temperature at game time close to 60 degrees. Kansas City very fortunate to be down by only 3. You can see those 2 drives for Denver starting in KC territory. Harvey Williams trying to turn to the outside. They strung the play out well, and it's a yard, if that much, for the rookie running back. Early lead for Washington as they try to move out to 11-0 and wrap up a playoff spot already. Bears at Indianapolis this afternoon. And a must-win situation for the New York Jets in Foxborough. On a 37-yard field goal, Denver with the early lead over the Chiefs. But it's 2nd and 9. Pressure from Fletcher. Dump off to Williams. Harvey Williams making the miss for a first down across the 40. A lot of people wonder why they went after another running back in the first round, the most recent draft, but he's a completely different sort.
Well, it's a different dimension. Word and Okoye, they like to bounce up inside, bang on people. Here, Williams, watch this smooth here. Now, Brooks is a great linebacker, and he makes him miss completely. Harvey Williams gives this offense something that it lacked. A guy out of the backfield that can make the big gain very easily.
Williams gets the call on first down and stays low for 3 to the 45. Michael Brooks making the stop. I asked Harvey Williams yesterday what it's like being in a backfield with Barry Word and Christian Okoye and what he lends to that backfield. He said it's tough for Marty, but you know, it's like Donald Trump. When Donald Trump goes into his garage, you can pull out the Ferrari, the Porsche, the Cadillac, the Lincoln Town Car. Well, with Marty, it's a similar situation. He can go to Okoye, Word, or he can go for the Gardner, myself. And he is unbelievably quick. 2nd and 7 for the 45. Williams can't hang on. A little low on the throw, but Fletcher in the face of DeBerg once again.
Well, it looked like the Ferrari dropped one there, but that's what you got to do. If you get a linebacker blitzing, a guy that's supposed to be covering this back, well, you just throw it to the back. He should make good yardage before someone else falls off of his man and tries to tackle him. So Fletcher came, quick reaction by DeBerg to get the ball to Williams.
Fletcher in his 7th year out of Houston. Also up there in the sack department. In fact, 4 of the top 6 sack masters in the AFC on the field today. Thomas and Kroll on top of that list. Now 3rd and 7 from the 45. DeBerg going deep. And not close as he was looking for Emil Harry.
A lot of people think Kansas City is a very conservative style offense, and in a way they are. They like to pound it out. They like to hand it off to those good backs and let them make yardage. But DeBerg has always been one of those guys that likes to go up top and keep those safeties honest. And I think we're going to see him do that an awful lot today.
Brian Barker comes into the game with a 40-yard average. Alton Montgomery waiting back deep at the 10-yard line for the Broncos. So Denver ready to get it back with a 3-point lead. A wobbler and a short one. Montgomery at the 15. Can't get away from the first man down, Todd McNair. Great coverage by McNair and the special teams. So for the first time today on their third possession, Denver with a 3-point lead will get the ball in their own territory.
Crisp, clean, Old Spice. It puts the wind in your sails.
The creators of the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, 1991 Motor Trend Import Car of the Year, proudly present the stunning new Mitsubishi Eclipse for 1992. Because nothing livens up a family like a little sibling rivalry. The Eclipse from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
When the team leader puts you in charge for the first time, that's when you find out how good you really are.
Next Saturday, NBC Sports presents a very special Olympic showcase when Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils take on the USSR national squad. So that's Duke and the USSR next Saturday, an Olympic showcase at 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on NBC. Elway starting a drive at his own territory for the first time today on their third offensive possession from the 14. Gaston Green cutting it back for only 2 to the 16. Sally Amua. The man that didn't have a place to play in Detroit. He backed up Jerry Ballin 3 years ago. Signed as a plan B with Kansas City. It paid off for both parties.
Well, Sally Moore is one of those nose guards that a lot of those guys that play their position, they're little stumps, and they really can't rush the passer. They just more or less control an area about 5 yards wide, tackle to tackle, make people double team, and you never hear their name. This guy's not like that. He can rush the passer. He goes sideline to sideline. One of the best in the AFC.
2nd and 8 from the 16. Gaston Green. Nothing available. Chris Martin, the linebacker, the first one to greet him. Near the 19-yard line. So only 2 on that carry. Good pursuit down the line by the defensive unit.
We talk about team speed again. Martin coming from the left side just chases the play down from the backside. Well, actually, they had flip-flopped Martin. They had went with a heavy set with 2 tight ends to the left. Martin was over there at the point of attack. But still, that's the thing about Kansas City. They've got guys that can line up in any one of a bunch of positions and still make things happen with that speed.
Broncos hit on 2/3 of their third down tries last week against the Raiders. Can they convert on 3rd and 6? Elway in trouble on his way down. The defensive back gets in. J.C. Pearson in the backfield. That is already the 3rd sack in the early going for the Chiefs.
Well, I think Henderson's been watching some film of those defensive ends and linebackers. You'll see him come from the top of the screen. He'll be pass rushing here on Lanier. Now, Lanier's a good offensive tackle. He makes a great inside move on him. Just goes right around him. He'll be over there saying, hey, blitz me again, I'll get another one.
So now Horan has to punt from his own end zone. Couple of yards into the end zone. As Stratford waits back around midfield, and Horan sends out a beauty. You'd think he's in the thin air a mile high with that punt. Stratford only to the 39-yard line. Shannon Sharp, the first one down there after a 55-yard punt by Mike Horan. Chiefs get it back offensively as we return to Kansas City with Denver on top by 3.
It took all day. But they finally came up with one very big idea. What do you bet they printed on a laser jet from Hewlett-Packard?
It's not a wagon, not a van, but whatever you're dragging, Expo can. Introducing Mitsubishi Expo and Expo LRV. Got some stuff with a lot of people? Expo seats from 7 deep. Well, got some people with a lot of stuff? LRV is more than enough. Not too big, not too small. Available with all-wheel drive, they'll haul you every day or on a getaway. Expo and Expo LRV. We call them sport wagons, but they're whatever you want them to be. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Back. This time we get it. STP gas treatment. Cleans intake valves and fuel injectors to help engines run better. STP, the edge.
Back when all anyone could talk about was how fast cars could go, Liberty Mutual was thinking about how safe cars could be. So we began research on the safety belt, airbag, and anti-lock brakes.
There were 2 persons injured and 1 killed. The dead was James Byron Dean.
Because even back then, we understood the costs involved.
Don't forget next Sunday on NBC Sports, another great NFL doubleheader. 4 early games and then a monster. And I use that word monster for the second half of our doubleheader. Miami at Chicago. Others will see Denver taking on Seattle. And don't forget on NFL Live, a special conversation with Mike Ditka, the head coach of the Chicago Bears. First and 10 for the Chiefs, their own 39. Okoye, his best run so far. 6 yards to the 45-yard line. I know you will be glued to the TV, Dan, to see that interview on NFL Live with your former head coach, Mike Ditka.
Well, Ditka's doing a great job this year. There's no question. 8-2, no one ever even ventured to guess that there'd be that. But, you know, looking at that picture, he's starting to look like a bear, isn't he? Look at this. Look at that hair. Jeez.
Well, you didn't call him that yesterday when you said to Dan Reeves, who talks to him weekly, you said, Dan, tell Mike I said hello and tell him he's starting to look like a walrus.
No, I said bear. Bear.
Oh, it was that Beatles song you were singing. That's right. 2nd and 4 from the 45-yard line. Harvey Williams up the middle. He's wrapped up in a hurry. Still gets 3, though, to the 48, where he's short of the first down by a yard, yard and a half. Greg Cragen makes that stop. And some scorers now on the ITT 10-minute ticker. Washington, the touchdown run by Gerald Riggs, maintains that 7-point lead. Indianapolis on a Jeff George pass with the advantage early over the Bears. Even between Minnesota and Green Bay in the first quarter. Jets need it in a big way after that disappointment last Sunday against Indianapolis. Okoye and Jones in the backfield. Behind the Berg on 3rd and short. 3rd and just about 2. And Okoye is met in the backfield, and I don't believe he got there. He needed to go just across the 49. And the punting unit already coming on the field for Marty Schottenheimer. So far, Dan, the Kansas City offense a no-show.
Well, Alfonso Carricker was starting today for the first time. He's the left end, number 92. He did a great job there of standing up the offensive tackle and then shedding him and falling back inside to stop this play. You'll see him right there coming back inside. Cragen and Mecklenburg filling up inside. And, you know, you talk about the Denver defense being strong up the middle. Well, they've got some good guys on the outside. But, you know, Mecklenburg, Brooks, Cragen, the nose tackle, the safeties, those are the ones that really have to play well today to stop this inside running game.
Cragen down at the bottom, and whenever we talk about Greg Cragen, the nose tackle, and he was our MVP 4 weeks ago in the win for the Broncos over the Chiefs, you've always said he's got a good motor. I guess you mean he's got a big heart.
Well, not only that, but here's a guy that has a lunch pail attitude. I mean, he comes to work every day. He looks forward to playing, and he's not as big and fast and strong as some of the other guys, but all he does is go out and make play after play, and he's a big reason why Denver is playing so well on defense.
Barker punts it away to Vance Johnson. Very high spiral. Johnson will let it sail over his head. Will it get into the end zone? Yes. So Denver, at the 52-yard punt, net of 32 for Barker, has it for the 4th time already in the first quarter with 61 seconds left in the first 15 minutes of play. And Denver, with all that great field position, has only 1 first down so far. No, Marty Schottenheimer has had his problems with John Elway, whether Marty was been on the sideline for Cleveland or Kansas City. He He says they match up well, but who will ever forget the fumble, the drive? Ice Station Cleveland, as they call it. January 11, 1987. The drive that Elway put together at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland to beat Schottenheimer in the final minute of play. 1st and 10. Thomas is there. Can he get him? Yes! Another sack for the Chiefs. And Derek Thomas is second.
Well, Derek Thomas, you talk about Kansas City defensive guys getting pressure, getting sacks. Well, this is the 4th one of the day. It's kind of a mismatch. Thomas is coming up here. He's in there working on a running back. That's no running back in the league can block this guy. Now, it's a full day's job for an offensive lineman to do it. That's a mismatch. Derek Thomas made the most of it that time.
His second sack. He's got 10.5 now to lead the AFC in that department. Kroll may have something to say about that before the day is done. Delay to Steve Sewell. And he is wrapped up in a hurry. Dan Saliamoa, he's been all over the place. Goes at 6 feet even, 300 pounds. And he's come up with some big plays early.
Well, he was on Crawford Kerr again. By the end of the day, I think Crawford will vote for this guy when they talk about Pro Bowl nose people. He's had a great start, and we're not even into the 2nd quarter yet.
So now it brings up 3rd and long. The crowd behind the Chiefs defensive unit on 3rd and 17. They are on their feet at Arrowhead. And that is the end of the first 15 minutes of play. So, as we said at the top of the telecast, center stage the defensive units. And it's been that way early as we'll come back to Kansas City.
This Heisman Trophy moment is brought to you by AT&T, the right choice. Stanford's Jim Plunkett was a man of his word. Plunkett and some teammates made good on their pact to beat USC and also win the 1970 Rose Bowl. Along the way, Plunkett smashed the NCAA career mark for total offense. Plunkett's Heisman Trophy moment proved extra special as he was the first winner to actually be present when the announcement was made.
Made up my mind. I'm going to do it. Why shouldn't I? I'm the one who has to look at myself in the mirror every morning. So before I lose another hair, I'm going to the doctor. I know doctors have treatment programs that are proven to work. More guys are trying them every day. I'm not bad now, but I wouldn't mind looking better.
Your doctor can really do something about hair loss. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
One day, a few thousand birds decide they don't like people. Really don't like people. The people try to fight back. But eventually, the birds win.
The difference between watching a movie on an ordinary television and watching it on a Mitsubishi home theater system is the difference between hearing about it and being there.
(1964). The youth of the world gathered in Tokyo. Everlasting memories, brought to you by the International Olympic Committee.
Welcome back once again to sold-out Arrowhead Stadium. Denver at the end of the first quarter with a 3-0 lead, looking at 3rd and forever, 3rd and 17. Elway out of his shotgun. He finds the tight end. It's complete to Shannon Sharp for first down. Across the 35 to the 37. Well, Sharp was so upset last week he dropped a certain touchdown pass, and that 1-point loss to the Raiders comes through early today.
Well, Sharp was being covered by Everett here. Elway had good protection. Look at the left of your screen. Thomas trying to come around the back door. Crawford Kerr comes back to help. That's why Elway had time on that pass. Shannon Sharp just running an isolated pattern. Runs away from Everett for the completion.
23 yards on the reception. 1st and 10 at the 37 for the Broncos. Perriman and Green in the backfield. It'll be Gaston Green. Bobbled it a bit on the handoff and gets only 2 to the 40. Great deal of emotion early by the Kansas City defensive unit.
Well, we saw them about 4 weeks ago, and to me, they look flat. Here you'll see Neil Smith setting the block, falling back in there. Now, you don't see any holes. That's just a big gang of bodies in there. That means that defensive front is doing their job. They're not getting knocked off the line of scrimmage. And Bill Cowher's the defensive coordinator. He's done a great job of slowing down this Denver offense so far.
You can see Denver with only 1 yard at the end of the first 15 minutes of play. 40 of the 71 for Kansas City, and the Rob Thomas pass play. Elway in trouble. On his way down, he lost the ball. Does he get it back? It's a battle. Elway maintains possession. Another sack for Kansas City, and it's their 5th. Chris Martin was in there early.
Well, I can't believe they're not giving the ball to Kansas City because clearly Elway lost the ball. It was a fumble. Now, you don't see Elway up there arguing. That means he knows it was a fumble. We'll see him go back here. Chris Martin, number 57, blitzes from the outside, spins Elway around. Now, right here, you'll see someone strip the ball. It's down. The ball is out of his hands. Elway tried to get it back. I don't know if he retained possession, but I guess the point's moot. They're on the line of scrimmage now.
2nd and long. Back at the Broncos 35. 2nd and a dozen.
Thomas.
Pressure again. And Elway going for the bundle for Derek Russell. And it's knocked away with a flag down the play. Kevin Ross defending.
Well, it's an interference call. Now, what we saw there was Elway being sharp enough to realize, hey, this could be a questionable call. He got his offensive guys up to the line of scrimmage so quickly to go ahead and run it before the replay booth could come into play. Now, he went for the whole bundle.
Offensive pass interference, number 85, 10 yards.
Well, it looks like Derek Russell interfered with the cornerback, Ross, trying to get back to the ball. We're going to try to take another look at this. But Russell did the smart thing. This was almost a sure interception here. You'll see him trying to go ahead and push off. You see that happen in NBA basketball, but you can't do it out here.
Interference. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, even though he was pushed off on, Kevin Ross still makes a great play to get back and keep that ball from being caught.
And this is the first game back for Kevin Ross since 4 weeks ago when he turned an ankle at Mile High Stadium in the loss to the Denver Broncos. Mike Moran just did a 55-yarder as Stratford is back waiting for the Kansas City 20, and they almost get the ball, but they get the punter. A flag is down, and Stratford also is down back at the 24. Albert Lewis going for the block. And he's done that so well for so long, almost had another one.
Well, we saw Kevin Ross, one corner, make a big play that last series. Now you'll see the other corner, Albert Lewis, coming up the hole here. Now, he almost got the ball, but
roughing the kicker, 29, defense. That penalty will be accepted.
In training camp, these guys work on this technique for a long time, weeks after weeks, and what they try to do is take that ball off the foot. Now you'll see he misses the ball and inadvertently gets the punter's leg. Now, you know, that's just one of those things that you got to be aggressive to block a kick. You're not just going to waddle back there and block it. You've got to want to do it. Lewis sold out. Unfortunately, the selling price wasn't in his favor.
Albert blocked 4 punts last year, has 10 during his career, so it's nothing new for the Chiefs and their fans to see number 25 all over the punter. And it almost looked like it was a miracle that it got through his hands.
Well, you'd think Albert Lewis would know how to take that ball off his foot because he takes it out of receivers' hands all the time. But
so Denver has it now at midfield. Gaston Green cutting it back against the grain nicely into the secondary for a first down where he's pulled down by Lewis. All the way at the Kansas City 37-yard line. It's a 3-0 lead with 12 minutes and 50 seconds left. A 3-0 Bronco lead as we look at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker. A field goal for Chip Lohmiller and a 10-point Redskin lead.
Well, I think it's important for Denver to go ahead and try to get this ground game going. You know, Gaston Green, he's got 657 yards, and he's still missed 3 games, so you know he can get there. But you've got to give him a chance. Otherwise, if you try to throw it all day, you'll die against Kansas City.
The delay for Gaston Green. Weaving his way out of the backfield nicely once again to the 30-yard line. So they're starting to make that commitment to the ground game.
Tackled by Albert Lewis.
And it's 8 on the carry for the former UCLA
Well, we know
Bruin.
Elway is calling his own shots. He'll get signals in on first and second down and the run, play, pass mix. But I think what we're seeing is Elway mature. He says, hey, I know that I don't want to back up and try to throw the ball 40, 50 times against this defense. I'm going to go ahead and get this ground game going early and take some heat off of myself.
2nd and 2. Green tripped up in the backfield. Doesn't gain a thing. Duran Cherry got him almost as soon as he accepted the handoff. And there's the veteran out of the secondary coming up with a big play. He had a phenomenal game last week against the Los Angeles Rams. 15 tackles. We asked him about that game where he came up with his 49th career interception. He said, that ranks right with the best that I've ever put together. He said, I had 4 picks against the Seahawks a few years back, but that was a total effort.
Well, and today he says, you know, playing against John Elway, it always seems to bring out the best in you. Well, I think he got tuned up by Everett last week to bring out the best in himself.
Can the defense come up big once again? 3rd and 2 from the 30. Quarterback draw. Elway loves to call his own number, and he's got the first down to the 22.
Well, the center, Keith Karts, did a good job on Sally Amua that play. Sally Amua been able to make an awful lot of plays inside so far, but we'll see here Sally Amua getting some help, or you'll see right in the middle of your picture, 72, giving him a white blocker. That's where he kind of gets him going one way, and then he peels back on the backside linebacker, Irving Randall. So good job by Keith Karts opening that hole for Elway to get the first.
This is the 11th play of the drive. It started back at their own 20, kept alive by the roughing call. And Gaston Green with flags down to the play. It was ripped down by Dan Saliamua. It'd be a loss. Let's find out about the flag, though.
Ball start, number 88, offense before the snap. 5 yards, first down.
Dead ball foul against Clarence Kay, the tight end from Georgia.
Well, number 55, Irvin Randall, is making a start today for Tracy Simeon. And, you know, Simeon and Dino Hackett, the 2 inside linebackers, you don't hear their names as much as the outside guys, Martin and of course, Derek Thomas, but they are just as important to this defense today because they will have to stop that inside running game. Gaston Green, as fast as he is, he still likes to hit it up inside.
1st and 15, back at the 28. And play action for Elway. He's got a receiver, Ricky Natile, and it's complete inside the 20, down to the 17. And we remind you at the conclusion of today's contest, we will be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award. It'll be given to the game's MVP.
Gain of 10 on the play.
And usually whatever it takes for Dan Reeves to beat Marty Schottenheimer, and he's beaten him 7 out of 8 meetings. John Elway finds a way to get it done. A 19-16 win 4 weeks ago. And he converted to keep the drive alive on a 3rd and 17. Elway with trouble with Neil Smith on him, throws it away. Heads up play by Elway.
Now the crowd's wanting a penalty on Elway for throwing the ball away, but I don't think they'll have it called because he had a guy in the corner of the end zone. But Elway is so good when he gets down inside the 20. They're 3rd in the NFL in scoring once they get in there. 31 of 34 possessions. They've gotten some type of points, whether it's a touchdown or field goal. But Elway will not do anything to take him back out of this zone. He knows once he gets down here, he's got to make it happen.
The Kansas City defense, though, has been spectacular inside their own red zone. And now it's 3rd and 4. Elway has it batted down. He wanted Derek Russell. Albert Lewis timed it perfectly. Elway went to the call coming over the shoulder.
Well, he
Lewis
did.
made a spectacular play, though.
Well, Lewis looks like he is back all the way from that knee. We talked about the 2 corners coming back from injuries. And what is good about this is you see Lewis in man-on-man coverage. What that does, that is a great play by a great player. I don't see how you can call a penalty on that. And that's the thing. If Kansas City is able to cover these guys man-on-man, Elway won't have anyone to throw to.
Treadwell tries a 35-yard field goal. He's already hit from 37. It's partially deflected, and it stays only a 3-point Denver lead. It looked like Billy Moss may have gotten a piece of it.
Well, last week he had 2 kicks blocked. He said the worst thing a kicker can hear is a thump after you kick it. Well, he's heard 3 thumps in a row now.
come back, another look at the field goal try by Treadwell. Denver still up by 3.
At Acura, we believe that a luxury sedan should appeal to a driver's appreciation of soft leather, fine wood, and beautiful stretches of asphalt. The Acura Legend sedan.
Remember our whatchamacallit?
We're here. Oh, check it out. Great. Hi.
How about that thingamajig? And that doohickey? I'd like you know who.
Bring the fish. I caught this one.
Look at that. With what's her names?
You'll never forget your big moments with the new UC1.
Nice catch, Dan.
It's the smallest, slimmest Canon 8mm camcorder yet.
Oh, hi, Dad.
What'd you call the who's or what's it?
The Canon UC1. You see one, you want one.
Perché sei andato, Marco? La gente mi come tata. Sapresti farle aggiungere la vita.
Why are foreign films so foreign?
Perché domando perché?
Try Bud Dry. It's dry brewed, not watered down. To drink light, yet satisfy completely. So at least refreshment speaks to everyone.
The more income your investments earn, the more taxes are taken out. But with Nuveen tax-free investments, the more you earn, the more you keep. Ask your financial advisor about Nuveen tax-free investments, or simply call this number.
Billy Moss got through to get a hand on it. And that was the difference. Denver comes up empty after a long drive, and DeBerg is slammed to the turf. Simon Fletcher on a first down pass try for the Chiefs.
Simon Fletcher, one of the finer pass rushers in the AFC. And, you know, here it says 7.5 sacks. Well, you say, well, Kroll's got a lot more sacks. Well, Fletcher has an awful lot more pressures. And really, he probably is a more accomplished pass rusher at this stage. He just runs by the tight end. Tight end had no chance on blocking him. And that's what Kansas City doesn't want to do, get him long yardage against this defense.
Now they're looking at 2nd and 16 back at the 14. DeBerg throwing into double coverage, and the receiver took it away. It's Barnett. Barnett on his way. Only Atwater can get him. And Atwater has him inside the 25. What a break for DeBerg in Kansas City.
Well, no sooner than you talk about Kansas City doesn't like to be in long yardage, they go and break a play like this. That was a gutsy throw by DeBerg. Barnett surrounded by people. Here the corners walked up. They're going to get a little bump on him. They're in a tailgate position. DeBerg just throws it in between 3 Bronco defenders. Barnett just runs away from him.
It looked like Demery had the pick.
It probably went through his hands. It did look like he played for the pick and didn't get it. There Atwater traces him down as a safety.
Best penetration of the day for Kansas City at the 23 of Denver. First down. Harvey Williams into the secondary. Leaping tacklers inside the 15. A yard short of the first down.
We'll take a look at this, and DeBerg saw a safety blitz coming, and he didn't audible out of it. His receiver Burton out to the left is screaming, safety blitz. He knows the safety from the right here has walked up. Just a great cut by Harvey Williams, getting behind that big surge of the offensive line. Those guys don't try to knock you off the line. They just try to get you going sideways and let those backs cut off their tails.
Jones and Okoye back in there on second, a little more than a yard. They've got it with Christian Okoye.
The ball carrier.
Chiefs have been phenomenal this year inside the red zone.
He was tackled by Ron
on 30 trips inside the 20-yard line, 20 touchdowns. That is an incredible percentage.
Well, a lot of times when you stretch the field out and you can throw the ball and do different things, a lot of teams are more effective. But, you know, the guys that have real strong personnel, big linemen, big backs, big tight ends that can control linebackers, these teams traditionally do well down inside the 20, getting touchdowns, because that's where you really have to more or less slug it out to get to that end zone.
We check in now on the Budweiser 10-minute ticker. Green Bay has taken the lead now over Minnesota. Jets still clinging to that touchdown lead. Well, Cincinnati's on the board at Philadelphia. And Atlanta on top by 10 against Tampa Bay. Kansas City looking for their first points of the day, trailing by 3 with under 7 minutes left in the first half. And they've got it 1st and 10 at the 13. Okoye slamming his way inside the 10, down to the 6. Sheer power by the Nigerian Nightmare.
Well, he gave Mike Brooks a little bit of a headache. You know, Okoye, he'll just go ahead and rock you in there when he hits the pile. You'll see Brooks gets onto him right there. Now, 56 is a great linebacker against the run. He carries him 4 or 5 yards down the field. There, you get a lot better idea of this surge. Boom, he's got 2 guys. The corner tries to get a shot on him. Brooks tries to get a shot on him. They just get carried towards the paint.
Okay, breaking tackles. He's in. Touchdown, Kansas City. It covered 7 yards, and Okoye was not to be denied.
Well, I think we're seeing him run on a mission today. Up in Denver, he didn't get it done, and he said, I don't know what it is, but you can tell this guy wants to run the ball inside today, and he's got his mind made up to do it. Now watch the Denver defensive players. Watch how many guys will try to throw the bodies at him. There's Mecklenburg, one of the best. There's Fletcher from the outside. He just drags them all in.
Nick Lowry tries to make it a 4-point lead and does exactly that. 6 minutes, 7 seconds left in the first half. The showdown in the AFC Western Division in Kansas City has the advantage.
Most guys kick back on the weekends. Jack, on the other hand, so how do you feel?
Ready to rock and roll.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Tomorrow,
we're sleeping in.
It's a fast-paced, get in, get out, gotta go world we live in. So, why not sit back and enjoy the ride in a luxury performance car designed to keep up with it? The 5-cylinder, 20-valve Acura figure.
Hard to resist.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. By Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares. And by new Tylenol PM to relieve nighttime aches and pains that can keep you from sleeping.
This may be the only stadium in the NFL where they don't need seats. These fans rarely use them at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. Good to have you with us. This AFC Western Division showdown. The 7-3 Broncos, 7-3 Chiefs. And Russell waits for the kickoff from Lowry. And Lowry pumped up, as well as the crowd in Kansas City. So a touchback. And when Elway, the offense take over, they'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. So many missed opportunities for Elway and that Denver offense so far.
You have a different view of life. You don't want to get bogged down in revolving credit on bank cards. All that revolving debt, all that outrageous interest. This is not for you. You know how to get out of that trap. The the card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Because some aches and pains don't go away when the lights go out, we've created new Tylenol PM, specially formulated with extra strength Tylenol pain reliever for those aches and pains that can keep you up at night. Plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep. So you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes new Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
At Acura, we believe that a luxury sedan should appeal to a driver's appreciation of soft leather, fine wood, and beautiful stretches of asphalt. The Acura Legend sedan.
Citizen, 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 elegant citizen, citizen, elegance. Oh, his citizen, his citizen, one citizen with lots of citizen, elegant, elegant, perfectly elegant citizen. We've got elegance.
Dan, players always talk about being focused. Safe to say he was focused, Okoye, on the last one.
Well, he was focused, and if you're an NFL linebacker, that's a stare that will not make your day down on the goal line.
Chiefs by 4. There's 6:01 left in the first half. First and 10 from their own 20. Gaston Green trying to turn the corner. Angles it in for a little more than 3. They had some luck on that last drive with Green on the ground. But it's been a story of missed opportunities in the first half so far for the Denver Broncos. Irvin Randall making that stop, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. But don't forget, the first 2 drives for Denver started in Kansas City territory at the Kansas City 40 and then the Chiefs 23. Then after that long drive that started back at their own 20-yard line, 14 plays and a blocked field goal by Billy Moss.
They look for Elway to go ahead and try to get that running game going again.
Second and a long 6, close to 7. Elway with time for one of the few times. Michael Young hanging on. It was Albert Lewis trying to strip it away. It's a first down for Denver. 13 yards on the completion. Another look at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker. And Washington continues to roll. They can wrap up a playoff spot if there was any doubt before with a victory today. Everything else the same. And now Atlanta gets a safety. The lead by 12.
Well, Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator for Denver, realizes, hey, I guess I'm going to have a hard time running against these guys unless I go ahead and back those linebackers out of there and keep those safeties off the line of scrimmage. So Elway's going to go ahead with that run-pass mix. First down from the 37, delay to Green. Big play by the linebacker, Dino Hackett. Played off the block well to make this stop. 4-point lead for the Chiefs. Let's check in now with Bob Costas.
Joel, the Bengals are significant underdogs at the Vet in Philly against the Eagles, but they lead 7-0. A backpedaling Boomer Esiason off the play-action fake finds the great veteran James Brooks, so versatile running the ball, or in this case as a receiver. The 16-yard play puts the Bengals up 7-zip. Joel?
Thank you, Bob. Exactly 4 minutes and counting now. Left in the first half at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Elway, delay. And Green does a nifty job. He's on his way inside the 40. Can they catch him? Cherry has the angle. He won't get there. Touchdown, Gaston Green in Denver. 60 yards on the run.
Joe, when we talked to Gaston Green yesterday, we said, what do you think about when you play on AstroTurf? He says, I think about being fast again. And this guy is fast, but, you know, you get a fast guy, he gets faster on AstroTurf. There you'll see just a little bitty kind of a sprint draw. Green starts it to the right, bends around Salamu, and he had good penetration, and then breaks it back against the grain. Now, when this guy gets out in the open field, not many can catch him. Just great cuts, and now you can't make cuts like that on grass. This turf gives you so much more traction, and he uses it.
Treadwell in for the point after. Gets that one up in time. The Chiefs can't get a hand on the ball, and now in a big turnaround in a hurry. After the 60-yard touchdown run by Gaston Green, it's a 3-point Denver lead with 3:47 left in the first half.
stars, and you'll find...
It's a fast-paced, get in, get out, gotta go world we live in. So, why not sit back and enjoy the ride in a luxury performance car designed to keep up with it? The 5-cylinder, 20-valve Acura Vigor.
This man's incredibly close, comfortable shave comes from the Norelco razor. But to see how he got it, we have to go back to when he began shaving. Not just above the skin, but below it. Here, our patented lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. Try it, and you'll keep going back to Norelco for a perfect shave. Norelco, we make close, comfortable.
Since we became employee-owned, I think there's a far greater commitment to providing good quality service.
Roving Rapid Return is really fast. I meet you at your car, push a couple of buttons, hand you a receipt, and you're out of there.
So why rent from anyone but an owner?
Talk about team unity. The Denver Broncos into that run by Gaston Green. Gary Kubiak loving it every step of the way. And you'll also see number 27 coming through. From the defensive side, Steve Atwater out of Lutheran North High School in the St. Louis area before he was an Arkansas Razorback. So he's back home basically in the state of Missouri. Short kick. Harvey Williams running up to get it at the 16. And Williams hit down in a hurry. Near the 28. Well, Gaston Green already has 95 yards on 10 carries today. The last time he performed on AstroTurf, he sits next to Bobby Humphrey, who was inactive last week and still waiting for his call from the casting director. Gaston Green had 158 yards on the turf at Minnesota. He loves running on the artificial surface.
Well, you know, he's been around for a while, but he is really like a rookie. I mean, if he was a used car, you'd see the ad in the paper. It'd say 88 model, low mileage, great condition, a real sweetheart. And I think he's been a real sweetheart for Denver today.
Good point, because Gaston Green has more carries this year than he had in the 3 years combined with the Los Angeles Rams. Talk about fresh legs. The dump off. That was the first time they had thrown on first down today, and it pays off. Harvey Williams gets 7 to the 35. Now, when we were talking to Harvey Williams about the compliment that he lends in the backfield, Christian Okoye was in the room as well. And then all of a sudden he started thinking, maybe I better not call myself that Ferrari. And all of a sudden he looked at Christian and he goes, I'm the pickup truck, buddy. Williams has it. There goes the pickup truck for a first down to the 39.
Well, if this guy's a pickup truck, he's had a little motor work done. Because this guy, it remains to see what kind of mileage he can get. But
it's not a stock engine.
No, definitely not.
There's the other two. They are so deep. The New York Jets deep as well at the running back position. Kansas City Chiefs right up there with the Jets in that department. DeBerg throws it away, and it's picked off. Michael Brooks on the deflection. The linebacker has it. And the second interception of Steve DeBerg already this afternoon gives the ball back to Denver in Kansas City territory.
Well, we talked about how Denver says, hey, we don't do anything else. We've got to get the ball back from these guys. Kansas City doesn't turn it over much. Well, DeBerg has already turned it over twice. You'll see Simon Fletcher coming from the top of your screen, number 73, turning the corner there. Now, that is not a sack, obviously, but the pressure gives them something better than a sack, a turnover. And that's how you do it. You create opportunities by putting pressure on people.
Dan, so often defensive coaches will tell you they'd rather have the hurry because it can lead to that turnover, the interception.
Well, a sack is a great play on third down and even on first down, but I tell you what, pressure leads to more turnovers than sacks do.
So for the third time this afternoon, the Broncos start a drive in Kansas City territory at the 47. The blitz was coming. Right up the middle, it was the linebacker, Irvin Randall. The running back, Lewis, tried to get a chip, a little block on him, but Elway still had to release early.
Well, Bill Cowher thinks that Elway is a guy that can kill you. Now, obviously, when he's in the pocket, he's a great quarterback. But when he gets out and makes things happen on the flanks by rolling in that moving pocket, he's awesome. And I think you're going to see Kansas City try to create indecision in Elway's mind by blitzing different people and trying to keep them off balance.
2nd and 10. Inside the 47, Steve Sewell. Doesn't get out of the backfield. Neil Smith the former Nebraska Cornhusker. First-round draft choice back in '88 for Kansas City with a big play. Well, so often we heard over the last couple of years that Neil Smith didn't show up on every down. I think the critics are being silenced to a certain extent this year.
Well, Neil Smith is a guy that's still on the come. I mean, you talk about guys that have been around for a few years. You say, well, he's not really that big of an impact player. Well, I think this is the first year that he's starting to tap that potential, and he's only going to get better the next 10 years.
The 2-minute warning has arrived at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Denver's got the ball in a 3-point lead.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. The Eagles' outstanding defensive line defines the word teamwork. Defensive ends Reggie White and Clyde Simmons mesh well with 3 defensive tackles who share time in the middle. Number 74, Mike Fitz, Jerome Brown, number 99, and Mike Godick, number 90. As individuals, each man accepts his role. Together as teammates, they form a fearsome fivesome that makes the Eagles the best they can be.
It isn't the night or even the fog that gets you. It's when the team leader puts you in charge for the first time. And you decide to drop right inside Alpha Team's backyard. That's when you find out how good you really are.
Are you gonna dance your whole life away? What about your future? Don't you worry about getting old.
He doesn't have to. He has a MetLife retirement plan. MetLife annuities earn tax-deferred interest and guarantee an income for life. What do you say to that?
Away?
Oh, brother. Get Met. It pays.
Tonight, a night court so fun day. It's on Sunday.
It's not every day you get to see Dan Fielding nude.
Then, for the first time on television, Michael J. Fox. Great Scott. Christopher Lloyd. They saved the best trip for last. Back to the Future 3 following a special Sunday night court. All starting at 8, 7 Central, NBC tonight.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. 3rd and 11 from the 48. Elway in trouble. Do they have their 6th sack? No. Is it taken in? Jackson had it skip into his breadbasket. An incomplete pass. Jackson wanted the reception, but it's incomplete.
Well, Dan Reeves can't believe it wasn't a completion. But we talked a minute ago about how Elway in the pocket's good, but on the outside, he's super. He makes things happen that most everyone else in the league can't make happen. Here you'll see how he sees the field. Now, all of a sudden, Neil Smith swims his guy. He's right in his face. They've got a corner blitz on. Elway gets out, buys enough time to throw the ball to Jackson. And there, it looked to me like it was a completion, but my eyes aren't so good, you know.
Broncos may want to take their time before they punt the ball away. Will it be reviewed?
Yes, it looks like they've gotten orders from the sideline, and Dan Reeves will say, hey, let's wait and let those guys have another look at this. Well, it's hard to say. I would have to think that that's a catch, but the official was within 5 yards of it, so I think it's obvious that they're going to disallow it. Jackson saying, hey, throw it in. Oh, that, I don't know. Look, it's trapped.
That does look like it's trapped on that angle.
From that angle, you could tell it was trapped. Good call by the official.
Moran has to go off the side of his foot. A break for Kansas City. They've got all 3 of their timeouts left, and now they get the ball back in outstanding field position after only a 19-yard punt by Mike Moran.
You know, kickers are so temperamental. I mean, you could say something to them and disrupt their train of thought or get them kind of mad at you. Well, when they sent the punting unit out there, he was probably all focused, ready to make, you know, a great kick. Then when they called the play back into the huddle and everybody huddled up, it broke his concentration. And there's nothing wrong with the snap or anything. That was just a bad kick by Moran.
They took a long time trying to get the review.
Exactly.
They also took a delay of game call, an extra 5 yards, and it hurt Moran. It's 1st and 10 at the 29 for Kansas City. So The Chiefs are down by 3. Pressure on DeBerg. They got the screen from McNair. Running past his blockers, he's got a first down across the 43. Well, the one thing that has slowed down Kansas City more than anything else, turnovers. And who would have believed that? They were turnover-free in 3 of their last 4 games. They have already had 2 DeBerg passes picked off. As we look at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker, the Kansas City, and we talked about it, Dan, at the top of the telecast, leading the NFL in the plus-minus ratio at a +17. Already a -2 today, though. Well, Denver did not pick up a turnover against L.A. in their loss to the Raiders last week, and they already have 2 now. So Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator's group, coming up with a big play. Now 1st and 10 for DeBerg. And he's got a wide-open Tim Barnett, and overthrows the wide receiver.
You know, it's kind of funny that what pressure can do for a defense. There, DeBerg goes back to his normal drop, 8-9 yards. Well, Fletcher Mecklenburg coming around the back door makes DeBerg scoot up about 3 or 4 yards into the pocket. DeBerg throws the ball. What a coincidence. It's about 3 or 4 yards too far. And that was caused by pressure. You'll see him having to scoot way up into the pocket. Now let's see how far this was overthrown. Maybe if we can't get that shot right now due to coming back on the ball, but it's about the same distance he moved in the pocket.
2nd and 10 from the 43. Still 3 timeouts left for DeBerg and the Chiefs. And a diving grab by Rob Thomas. He has been the unknown factor for the Chiefs this year. Without Emil Harry, without Stephon Page. Page now lost for the year, just underwent knee surgery on Friday. And Rob Thomas has come through in the clutch time and again. He gets 8 on that reception, so they're still going to be looking at 3rd and 2 when we come back. As the Chiefs just used their first time out, they've got 2 left with 1 minute and 17 seconds remaining.
This Christmas, Tandy computers, some of the best-selling PC compatibles in America, are on sale at Radio Shack. 4 complete systems with color monitors start at just $599.90. All come with 24 unique home organizer programs. The more powerful RLX system is the perfect home office machine. And with hard drive, it's just $1199.95. The Tandy 1000 family of computers. So easy to use, we guarantee success.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Welcome back to Kansas City. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton, and a question for Wade Phillips. Does he go with the dime package, or does he look for the run and try to stuff it with a lot of people up on the line of scrimmage, Dan?
Well, he's going with regular people here, so that means that they're kind of, he's got the dime in. It's a spread offense.
32, and DeBerg will work out of the shotgun. Has time and has a man wide open, J.J. Burton. Burton has to hang on and does so. 1st and 10 at the 25. 23 yards on the catch.
Well, Burton's a guy that can make the big play. You know, the receivers are such that, they'll count a possession guys. Well, Burton's not. He can possess the ball and get in the end zone.
Kansas City uses another timeout as we come back to Arrowhead Stadium.
For the first time ever, you can catch every punch, every stroke, and every dash of the Olympics. Because now, in addition to NBC coverage, you've got the power to choose between different Olympic events on 3 cable channels. Call 1-800-OLYMPIC for the Olympics triple cast of the 92 Summer Games and catch every moment.
Catch the fire behind the flame.
J.J. Burton had a 23-yard average last year, 18 this year, and he picks up the first down, Dan.
Well, he just runs up underneath the safety in the zone, behind the linebacker. DeBerg throws a good ball to him.
First down outside of the 25. 1 timeout left now for Kansas City. A little more than a minute left. The middle screen for McNair. McNair still on his feet to the 16. And I believe he's just short of the first down. They've got to save that last time out. They'll go with a no huddle. Under 50 seconds left in the first half as Kansas City trails by 3. DeBerg into the corner. Burton held up by Dennis Smith. No flag on the play, though, as DeBerg took a lick at the end of it.
Well, Denver's brought in Brian Sochet. He's in there for some inside push in that pass rush, and he got it that time, forcing DeBerg to go ahead and unload deep in the end zone. But, DeBerg throwing 2 picks today is kind of strange, because if you look at his career, the first 12 years, Joel, he had thrown 28 interceptions. The last 2 years, I mean, he was minus 28 in turnovers his first 12 years. His last 2 years, he's plus 26. So, I mean, this guy, he's been able to manage the football so well, and he's not going to put him in a bad position.
8 of 14, 170 yards. The delay give up the middle. McNair doesn't get much. They're to the 14. And he's got the first down. So they pick up the first down. They've got to hurry. Under 30 seconds remaining in the first down. 1 timeout left. Pocket holding up well. DeBerg has Thomas. Thomas to the 5. Now they've got to stop the clock. And they use their final timeout with the ball close to the 2-yard line.
Thomas does a good job of just going out and running a little bit hook pattern. DeBerg unloads him the ball. Lined up in the slot, number 81. He sees the corners back off of him. He says, quick, throw it to me. Let me make something happen. You know, you hear about possession receivers. Well, that's what they do. They get open and they catch the ball when you have to have someone catch it.
Has he ever turned out well for a 6th-round draft choice back in '89, his 3rd year from Oregon State? That's his 2nd catch on the drive. He's the leading receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, Rob Thomas. And now, with no timeouts remaining, do you take a chance and try to run the ball? I don't think they can.
Well, they're bringing in Barry Word and Christian Okoye. So it looks like even if they don't run it, they're going to try to give the impression that they will.
But, Dan, do they have enough time to get off a second play if they're stuffed on that first try if they go on the ground?
Well, I'm sure that's what DeBerg's saying. Hey, we've got 16 seconds. If we don't get in the end zone, everybody get back and line up. So we can go ahead and try to kill the clock.
Spike the ball and stop it.
Exactly. We've got to kill it if we don't make it.
Barnett and Thomas are the wide receivers. Jones and Okoye in the backfield. 1st and goal outside the 2. DeBerg with pressure coming. And it's knocked away with a flag down to the end zone. Word was there. Also Barnett.
Uh-oh.
12 men on the field. 12 men on the field. Defense.
Makes it a little bit easier to get the job done.
Well, it's kind of a snap to stop people when you got an extra guy out there.
They do lose 4 seconds on the clock, though.
Well, like I said, they didn't run the ball, but they brought those big guys in trying to give infer that they were going to go ahead and run the ball, but that was a good call. DeBerg wanting to go ahead and try to throw the ball into the end zone off a play action. So I think we'll probably see about the same thing here, but
now you're only a yard away.
Exactly. He can give it to Okoye. He can just fall in.
He is thrown into the corner. Barnett has it go over his hands.
You know, and I've got to question that. I mean, here you've got one of the biggest, strongest players to ever carry the football in the history of the game, and you don't give him a chance down there inside the 2-yard line. Don't understand that.
Tyrone Braxton walked Tim Barnett all the way back to the huddle as Lowry comes onto the field. With boos in the background, they wanted one more try at the end zone with 8 seconds remaining. So Nick Lowry will try to tie it up for Kansas City before the intermission. It'll be less than an extra point try. It'll be a 19-yard field goal attempt. Out of the hole, the punter, Brian Barker. The exchange is clean, and it is all even in Kansas City. Only 3 seconds off the clock. 5 seconds left in the first half, so the Chiefs will have to kick it away. And so similar to the first matchup between these two teams, when it was tied at 16 with 3 minutes left in the game before Treadwell won it with a 22-yard field goal. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Bob Costas, Bill Parcells, O.J. Simpson in the studio. And Bill Parcells is going to be talking about the declining level of talent in the NFL. So stay tuned for NFL Live. All the scores and highlights. As it's the Chiefs 10 and the Broncos 10. Looking down the road for these two teams, both most of their duty the rest of the way on the road. Elway and Denver at Seattle next Sunday. We'll be at that game, Dan. But they have a last place schedule, so there is a huge advantage over the last 5 games for the Denver Broncos as opposed to the Kansas City Chiefs, who still have to match up with the Raiders and the San Francisco 49ers. The squib kick. It'll be taken by Steve Sewell. And that's the way the first half comes to a close, as Saxon was in on the tackle. So exactly what we expected, a very tight affair at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And it took the offensive units a while to get going, Dan.
Well, I think the defenses were playing so well early, and then after they made some adjustments, the offense started moving the ball against both defenses. So, I don't know.
We'll be right back with the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report and a word from the National Football League. Also a message from your local station. It's even at halftime.
His name was Craig. In getting to know him, I learned he came from a single-parent home, no brothers, and he had no father. But he had a lot of emotional problems, so I became his buddy. I know how a child like Craig feels. When I was only 5 years old, back in 1972, my father, Air Force Captain Robert Thomas, was shot down when his plane was returning from a mission in Vietnam. When I lost him, I felt I'd lost everything in the world. But in the short time we were together, he inspired me to be the best my heart and mind could make me. I'm Derek Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs, and I know there's a tremendous need for special one-on-one mentoring, particularly for young black males, to fill the role of a father, a counselor, a friend. I'm just one of the NFL players that have joined the United Way to help save children at risk. The United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
The hottest names in country music are about to take center stage, and the country will never be the same. It's the only place to see your favorite stars, because this ain't no video show. This is the real thing. Sunday, November 24th, the country's going to be hot on NBC.
These 91s are here to remind you McDonald's McLean Deluxe is 91% fat-free.
No, we're not. We're here because McLean Deluxe is 100% delicious. With a Diet Coke, it even satisfies Big Jeff Wright.
Right. Right, it's 100% delicious, so why 91s? And then again, why not? McLean Deluxe at McDonald's today.
Pat, get a Chiefs, mini football, for only $1.99. When you buy a Diet Coke at McDonald's, collect all 3. It's a kick.
We've been telling you about Kansas City's Hondas. Now, let our customers tell you.
I've owned 6 Hondas in the past 15 years. I keep buying them because I keep getting half my money back when I trade them in. Never have I gotten in my car and it hasn't started. I highly recommend Honda. I've been most pleased.
And if that's not enough to convince you, all our brand new 92 Accords and remaining 91 Accords are now on sale at Frank Ancona, Hal Quinn, Jay Wolf, Stadium, John Chizik, and O'Neill Honda.
Is Kansas City married to the mob? Find out Tuesday.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Well, our feature game of the day, and no disappointment to this point. 10-10 at halftime, Broncos and Chiefs for the lead in the AFC West.
Well, I'm surprised that Coach Robinson could be so wrong about a running back. Gaston Green, you know, we all thought he was a straight-ahead running back. He showed a lot of instinct on that run. This is something that they didn't think he can do with the Rams, and that's why they traded him. And one thing about this game, Denver is a notoriously bad second-half team. Last year, they blew 8 halftime leads. The game is tied in this game, and this year they lost one of the games that they were leading at halftime.
Coach, what do you think?
Both these teams are really going at it, Bob. This looks like it's for the lead in the division. There's a lot of aggressive play. They're going after the ball hard. The backs are running hard. The DBs are hitting hard. There's a lot of football left in this game. This is going to be a good one before it's over.
Now, Elway is running for his life back there. Derek Thomas has picked up 2 sacks, coming from that right side. And, of course, the Broncos have had a lot of trouble at the left tackle spot, and that's usually where he's coming over to get at the quarterback.
Yeah, this is their 3rd left tackle. Harvey Salem. They started with Darrell Hamilton, and then they had a fellow named Davidson playing. They traded with Detroit to get Salem in there, and that's who they're using now.
Schottenheimer is 1-7 lifetime against Denver, and of course the most crushing defeats came in those AFC championship games that were so close when he was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. From a coaching standpoint, does a guy begin to get under your skin? Does Elway present a psychological hurdle for Schottenheimer, more so than for his team?
Without question. I think, you know, you overanalyze what you've done before. You try to make adjustments to things. You remember plays from 6 or 7 years ago. I know I had that problem with Randall Cunningham myself, remembering all these plays that he had made, and you try and keep your team from going through that again, and sure, it can be a problem for a coach.
That's similar, though. You mentioned Cunningham and Elway, similar in that a coach prepares for everything that they can throw at you by design, but a Cunningham or an Elway burns you in an impromptu fashion by just making an athletic play.
Without question. What you try to do is choreograph the way they're allowed to do that also. And as I said, sometimes you overanalyze those situations, and you just, it does get under your skin. I'm sure Marty's upset with this guy. Cost him a lot of money and a lot of games.
Not too much under the skin of Joe Gibbs these days. Looks like his Redskins will go to 11-0. They're leading at halftime in Pittsburgh, 17-0. Ripping to Monk for an 11-yard touchdown. Ripping to Monk for a 63-yard play that set up a Gerald Riggs 1-yard run for their other TD, and they're cruising at 17-0. Chicago had fallen behind 7-0 at the Hoosier Dome late in the second quarter. They've taken a 10-7 lead now on the Colts. Minnesota and Green Bay locked up at 14 apiece just before halftime at Lambeau Field. The Jets and New England in Foxborough. The Jets trying to put the memory of last week's disaster at home against the Colts behind them and leading now at the half 14-0 on a very blustery day. 35-mile-per-hour winds in New England. The Jets set up in field goal formation, but it's a fake. Ken O'Brien to Al Toon here, incomplete, but Maurice Hurst called for pass interference, giving the Jets first and goal at the New England 1. Dick McPherson disagreeing with the call, but obviously it stands, and A.B. Brown plows his way in from a yard out for his first NFL TD and a 7-0 Jet lead. 4 plays after a Scott Mercereau interception off Hugh Millen, the Jets capitalized later. Ken O'Brien finding Chris Burkett for the 7-yard touchdown, and they lead it 14-zip. Juice?
Well, I tell you, I got to be impressed with the Jets. They bounced back from that defeat last week. They're doing what they should do against a team like New England. Now, don't forget, New England is pretty tough in New England. There's some teams that they should have beaten there. Of course, they beat Houston in New England. So they're not an easy team up there. I still say the Jets will win 10 games this year and make it to the playoffs.
You know, a lot of people, with all due respect to Bruce Coslett, would like a piece of that bet against you because they have shown they will play down to the level of their competition, just as occasionally they've played up to it.
Well, if you look at their schedule, they're going to have to play down to a lot of competition because they don't have a very tough schedule to go.
Okay, we just have 2 more scores to send your way. Cincinnati with the worst defense in the league. At Philadelphia, Eagles have the top-ranked defense. This one is tied, though. Esiason and McMahon each has a touchdown pass, even up at 7 at halftime. Tampa Bay at 2-8 at the 5-5 Falcons, and the Falcons just keep pouring it on. It was 19-0 moments ago, and they've added 2 more touchdowns, 33-0, and it's not yet halftime. We continue following these messages from your local stations as we're joined by Bill Parcells with some sharp opinions about the level of talent around the NFL.
I'm going back to 1885, and I'm bringing you home.
Michael J. Fox.
Indian!
Christopher Lloyd.
I never met a man like you before.
Trapped in the wildest West ever, with only one way out. The best Back to the Future of them all. Back to the Future 3, tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central on NBC.
We don't have to tell people we're #1. Our cars and trucks speak for themselves. See your local Chevy dealer. Al Wallace on WDAF 4 News. This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Okay, in this segment of the halftime program, we thought we'd get some of the opinions of Bill Parcells about a subject he's been thinking about for a few weeks. You think that the general level of talent in the league is down?
Oh, without question. I think anybody that's looking at football, the obvious position this year that's evident to everyone is the quarterbacks. Now, part of it's injuries, but these backup guys are not really stepping up and coming to the front. But I feel like, well, who's the next Reggie White? Maybe Cortez Kennedy. But are there 5 guys that are up-and-coming young defensive linemen now that you can say, hey, one of these guys or 2 of these guys are going to wind up getting 100 sacks like White or Dent? Or who's the next Lawrence Taylor? Well, it looks like Derek Thomas might be. But, you know, are there 5 guys that could eventually be that way? No.
For a while, everyone was saying, well, Andre Tippett is the next Lawrence Taylor. And then it was Cornelius Bennett. You can't confuse Pat Swilling because he's almost a contemporary of Lawrence Taylor. He's only a couple of years behind him. So Thomas would have to be the guy. But there isn't a half dozen.
No, there aren't. And I think in other positions, defensively particularly, I remember going into the draft, going into our personnel director, Tom Boyster, with the Giants, where are the defensive linemen? He said, well, there's one here, but we're not going to get to pick him because he's going to be gone before we pick. There weren't that many to choose from, so it is a little bit alarming.
That's why you said to me before, if a Cortez Kennedy is on the board, except in the rarest of circumstances, you better grab him.
I'm very prejudiced, Bob. I believe you set your team by building defense. So I would always have preferred to take the big defensive player that can be a dominant defensive player even over the offensive skill player, other than the quarterback position.
Is there something happening philosophically in college ball that's depleting the number of top-ranked defensive players coming out?
I think a lot of the big guys are being put on the offensive line, but I think we're losing a lot of players to basketball. I think a lot of guys that would have wound up being those defensive ends, those 6'4" and 6'5" guys, maybe not top-flight basketball players in high school, but they can go play somewhere, power forwards for someone. Those are the guys that wound up developing into the linebackers, the defensive ends, the tight ends, and I think we're losing a lot to basketball.
Now, how about at the quarterback position?
Well, at the quarterback position, I don't think there are that many schools on the collegiate level producing top quarterbacks. Of course, Miami has 4 or 5. Maryland, you have to look at their track record. Gelbaugh, Reich, Esiason. There is another school that has produced some. UCLA has 2 or 3 guys playing. Maybe University of Washington. Brigham Young, maybe. But that's only 4 or 5 schools. You used to get them out of the Big Ten. And the Big 8, I can't remember the last time a Big 8 quarterback made it in professional football.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Steve Grogan was from the Big 8, but that goes back a decade and a half, and Bobby Douglas never really made it.
Lynn Dickey, but you got to go back a way.
All right, we got to get out of here for just a minute. We continue with our halftime activities right after this.
The Dolphins, Dan Marino and company, are back in the wild card hunt. The Bears, seeking their 7th divisional title in 8 years. These 2 playoff contenders collide in venerable Soldier Field. Shula, Ditka, the Miami Air Machine versus the Monsters of the Midway. Next Sunday.
It's all even at halftime at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The Broncos and the Chiefs going into the game with identical records of 7-3. And welcome back once again, Joel Myers, along with Dan Hampton. The story in the first half, missed opportunities for the Denver Broncos. 3 times, Dan, they started drives inside Kansas City territory, only came up with 3 points on those 3 drives.
Well, we talked at the top of the show how defense could take center stage, and it has. Kansas City's defense has sacked Elway 5 times, hit him a bunch of other times, and virtually kept their team in this game by themselves.
It has been a very average first half. On the other hand, for Steve DeBerg, he's been intercepted twice, easily could be 3, as Barnett made that big play, taking the ball away from Charles Dimry in the secondary. So let's see if DeBerg gets it together. He's had some big plays, big long pass plays with Barnett and Rob Thomas. But average for the most part as Harvey Williams bobbles the kickoff. And he takes it to the 25-yard line. We were just talking about those possessions for the Denver Broncos. Their first 2 drives starting in Kansas City territory. That second one to the 23, where they got the 37-yard field goal from David Treadwell. And then finally, their only touchdown came on a long drive that was kept alive by the way of a penalty. And Dan, the numbers after the first 30 minutes of play.
Well, that's the thing. You look over there at the turnovers. See, 2 for Kansas City, that's uncharacteristic. DeBerg has not thrown many interceptions, and that's basically kept them out of the, I mean, they should be running away with this thing right now.
Start with Williams in the backfield. He gets the call, and he's got blocking to the outside. Almost a first down. Barnett blocking the cornerback on the outside who thought he was held, and that was Wyman Henderson.
Well, Carl Mecklenburg, the inside linebacker, shows that he still can run. Here he just unblocked, just turns and runs down the field. Now there's a late offensive lineman there coming off to get him, John Alt, the left tackle. Mecklenburg just runs by him and makes the play on the out-of-bounds marker. But still, that's a 10-yard gain virtually, and Denver can't be giving those up right and left.
Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday first down is so important for us. Well, that first down netted 9 yards. Second and a yard. Harvey Williams again bouncing to the outside. Dimry horse collars him down. But he's got the first down close to the 40-yard line.
Well, this is a good move by Kansas City coming back with Harvey Williams, going to go ahead and stretch that defense and attack those flanks. We saw Harvey go left, make big yardage. Then we see Harvey go right, make big yardage. See, watch the offensive lineman here. You'll see him just come out, try to stretch those defenders and let Harvey use his speed. If they stay backdoor, he runs outside. If they go ahead and try to force a play by going across the blocker, then he cuts back. Very smart ball carrier, this Harvey Williams.
Asked him the biggest difference between LSU last year and the pros this year. Said it's the film room. I never had to worry about the defensive units when I played for the Tigers of LSU. Now I sit in the film room and I've got to study defense. As DeBerg has to use the timeout very early in the second half. Not even 90 seconds gone by in the third quarter, and that could be costly down the road for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Every year, for the past 11 years, Hertz has been rated the best overall car rental company by a survey of renters. For over a decade, 19,000 renters considered car selection, reliability, cleanliness, and the quality of the company's service. For the 11th year in a row, we're America's #1 way to rent a car.
Hertz, we're America's wheels.
Oldsmobile knows that all your roads won't be sunny roads. That's why the all-new Oldsmobile 88 Royale LS offers you advanced traction engineering, the combination of anti-lock brakes, traction control, and road-holding front-wheel drive. The 3 elements to beat the elements. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Now, get 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By the card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. By Liberty Mutual. We're our customers' advocate at Liberty Mutual because we understand the costs involved. And by Hertz. We never forget who made us #1. We're Hertz. We're America's wheels.
They love it in Kansas City. Fortunately, it's not 20 below for those gentlemen out there. It's about 55, close to 60 degrees. Pleasant afternoon, and the rain has stayed away, fortunately, from Arrowhead Stadium. First down, Christian Okoye takes it from the 39 out to the 42, a gain of about 3 yards. Looking back now in the first half possessions for the Kansas City Chiefs, they did not enjoy the great field position that the Denver Broncos had. In fact, the first 3 times they had the ball, only a total of 13 plays. So the average drive for Kansas City started at their own 27-yard line compared to the average drive starting at the 41 for the Denver Broncos. Call it 2nd and 7. DeBerg in trouble, dumps it off for Rob Thomas. Thomas trying to get away and does so for an extra 3 out to the 48. Braxton had him by the jersey.
Well, we just saw Rob Thomas make a great individual effort down by the goal line before the end of the half. Here's another one. DeBerg just throws in the ball. He fights, twists, struggles, trying to get some extra yardage here. And, you know, you hate to say possession receiver. Hey, this guy, and a lot of guys around the league, I mean, they don't like being called that, but that's what you look for, a guy that can catch the ball and make something happen and not the bad thing happen.
And now can the Chiefs make something happen on 3rd and less than 2? Okoye has more than enough into the secondary, into Denver territory. And Okoye takes it to the 37 of the Broncos, 14 yards on that ramble.
Well, we talked about Okoye. Now he'll just go ahead and rock that middle of the defensive line. Rock it left, rock it right, rock him in there. Man, this guy can rock you to sleep. Watch him. You'll see Mecklenburg coming out fighting with the right guard. Tries to go back door. Okoye just runs right through the hole. Never even sees Mecklenburg.
Christian at 96 yards on the ground against the Rams last week. Play action for DeBerg on 1st down with pressure coming. It's Thomas. Great grab. Inside the 25 for another 1st down. And DeBerg had to unload it.
Mecklenburg coming up the middle on a blitz versus DeBerg to go ahead and throw the ball on the out pattern a little bit prematurely. You see him trying to step away from the heat there. But Thomas has almost single-handedly got this offense going again here in the 2nd half.
Don't forget 15-year veteran Steve DeBerg out of San Jose State. Had a basically average 1st half, throwing 2 interceptions. It could have been 3. As Thomas has 5 catches now for a total of 82. DeBerg came into the game ranked 3rd among AFC quarterbacks. Only behind.
Pass is rule on the field. Replay is reviewing the play.
Now DeBerg behind only Jim Kelly and Bernie Kosar among AFC quarterbacks.
Well, we'll look at it here and see what the official gets to look at. That looks like NFL football to me. Great throw, great catch.
Another angle.
And the NFL officials agree.
So the play stands as called on the field.
Please reset the 45-second clock to 21. 21.
It'll be a 1st down at the 22 for Kansas City. And the delay to get the play clock set up. And they finally do to the 21-second mark. This is the 7th play of the drive. It started back at the Chiefs' 25-yard line. Rob Thomas, the key receiver. He is on the sideline now as Okoye gets it on 1st down. And there he goes again, banging his way ahead to the 10-yard line.
Okoye busting through that defensive line, getting into the secondary before the safeties can even react. Now, the game 4 weeks ago, the safeties made an awful lot of plays right at or near the line of scrimmage. Here, you see Okoye get on Dennis Smith, number 49, before he can even get up to the line of scrimmage. That's great blocking and just freezing those interior safeties where they can't really react. They're just back there playing safety rather than being aggressive.
3 carries, 27 yards on this drive alone. A total of 56 for Christian Okoye. And Williams, a single set in the backfield on 1st and 10 outside of the 10. DeBerg's 1st option not available. And he overthrows Stratford. It looked like Danny wanted to go to Barnett.
Well, Barnett was covered very well. And looking back to his left, he probably could have made a little bit better throw, but he had an awful lot of time, and that's a luxury that DeBerg will have today if Denver refuses to rush, only rushes 3 and even 4. The Kansas City offensive line, very underrated. And a lot of people don't realize they're such good pass protectors because they run block so well. But they give him an awful lot of time to make decisions back there.
Chiefs are trying to break a 10-all tie. 10-12 left in the 3rd. Harvey Williams, nothing available up the middle. Down to the 9, and that is it. Gain of about 1.5 yards.
He was tackled by Ron Holmes.
And now the 3rd down specialists start to come in for the Kansas City Chiefs after that solid defensive play by the Denver Broncos.
On the play, 3rd and 8.
Steve DeBerg will have to put it into the air. Coming into the game over the first 10 weeks, DeBerg had thrown only 5 interceptions. He's already got 2 today. And he goes with his 4 wideout set. On 3rd and long, 3rd and 8, they can still pick up a first down inside the 1-yard line. Pocket holds up, but Fletcher may have gotten a hand on DeBerg. It looked like Simon Fletcher got that big paw up there in time as it falls incomplete.
Well, DeBerg didn't have a whole lot of options that time. The 4 defensive backs rolled up and forced the receivers out. So DeBerg comes back trying to throw it into the middle. Not able to get the ball to him. Once again, the pressure. Fletcher flashing around from the backside.
Nick Lowry now will try to break the tie. He tied it up at the end of the first half with a 19-yard field goal. This will be a 28-yard attempt. The hold of Brian Barker, the punter. And Kansas City regains the lead. So Lowry now 2 for 2 on the afternoon. The Chiefs lead it by 3 early in the 3rd quarter.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. As a member of the Jets, he was outrageous and outstanding, gaining nearly 4,000 yards rushing in 5 years. During 9 seasons with the Redskins, he added nearly 7,500 yards and brought his career touchdown total to 116. Who was this legend?
Every 20 seconds, a car is stolen. So Liberty Mutual is giving some police a powerful homing device that finds the car, which lowers insurance. And this device also finds the thief, who finds himself behind bars. At Liberty Mutual, we understand the costs involved.
John Riggins marched to the beat of a different drummer. Someday he will surely march into the Hall of Fame, a true legend of the game.
It took all day, but they finally came up with one very big idea. What do you bet they printed on a laser jet from Hewlett-Packard?
The power of intelligent engineering is routinely put to the test at Oldsmobile. And here's the result. Of all the Cutlass Sierras ever sold in the last 10 years, we can say 96% are still on the road. Safely say. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Available now for $12,695 with Air and V6 engine.
Don't forget next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern, a special interview on NFL Live with Bears coach Mike Ditka. They're at 8-2 after the first 10. One of the surprises. Many didn't think the Bears would win 8 of their first 10. And that precedes our big NFL doubleheader on NBC Sports next Sunday. Check your local listings for the game in your area for early, and then that big matchup at Soldier Field late. The Dolphins and the Chicago Bears. That's all next Sunday on NBC. Lowry ready to kick it away to Derek Russell. Out in Montgomery. They wait back inside the 5-yard line. Short kick this time by Lowry. Montgomery calling for it at the 10. And good coverage by the special teams in Kansas City as they nail him at the 27-yard line. So Elway and the offense get their first crack in the second half. Only 12 attempts in the first half for John Elway. Ground game with Gaston Green accounted for better than 100 yards, so that started to pay dividends in the second quarter. And Steve DeBerg in the second quarter started to throw the ball a little bit more on first down, but he has also been picked off twice. And the Chiefs have to be frustrated because that was an 11-play drive that just started, they just finished. Turned over the ball better than 5 minutes and had to settle for 3 points. 13-10 Kansas City lead. 9:20 left in the third. Gaston Green.
Well, that was a play that we saw Gaston Green break for a touchdown in the first half. Played a lot better by the Kansas City defense. Instead of trying to go ahead and get off the blocks and rush outside, they more or less stayed home. You'll see Neil Smith, number 90, on the right side of your screen. Stand up the offensive guard and just basically stay home, not give him a cutback lane to go ahead and break it back against the grain.
Second and long. Second and 9. An equipment adjustment on the sideline for Gaston Green. As Greg Lewis is the only one behind Elway. The quick one, Kay can't hang on. Pearson on the coverage. But Clarence just simply dropped it.
Kansas City doing a few different things. Moving Derek Thomas around. He started the playoff from the left side, trying to get him matched up with different offensive tackles. Guy like this, you try to let him be the impact player and everyone else kind of feed off of him. He's always making something happen, stripping the ball, getting a sack, making a big play down the field. Got to move him around and let him get on some of what we used to call those whipping posts. Try to get something easy.
He had 2 sacks in the first half. 5 overall for Kansas City's defensive unit. Can they come through here on 3rd and long? Elway has time, and it's out of the hands of Mark Jackson. He would have had enough by a couple of yards for the first down. Another drop of an Elway pass, though.
But Jackson usually very reliable as a receiver. Elway having plenty of time with Derek Thomas on his left double. That's a catch he makes 95% of the time.
Moran ready to punt it away. His last one in the first half only traveled 19 yards. Set up that tying field goal. Sends out a beauty this time. Stratford lets it go over his head. And it takes a Denver roll inside the 10. It's touched. Back around the 10-yard line. So a big play for the special teams, and in particular, Mike Moran of the Denver Broncos. And when we come back, it was a 72-yard punt. The Chiefs was starting a big hole back in their own territory.
We built this business.
I hit the brakes. You know, they're anti-lock brakes.
It was close, but we stopped in time.
Build this business.
Every year they plant new trees. Dad says they make good things from trees.
After my accident, they advanced my insurance benefits and built me a ramp and got me back on my feet.
We built this business to build your dreams.
Power. Applied intelligently, its effects are magnificent. Witness the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. Powered by the world's largest 24-valve V6 engine and an electronic transmission. It's a car designed to provide a more intelligent standard of performance, measured not simply in miles per hour, but by a slightly different gauge, miles per gallon. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
They want you. You at the meeting, you at the client dinner. You in 2 places at once, so you can't be held. The card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
There's something new, you're gonna love it. From KFC, it's called the Go Bucket.
KFC introduces Go Buckets. Enjoy original recipe, hot wings, and extra tasty crispy chicken.
Nobody's cooking like today's KFC.
A look at the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Washington continues to roll towards her 11th straight victory in a playoff spot already. Still tied at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Green Bay maintaining that 7-point advantage, while the Jets go up on top in a big way over New England. And Atlanta doing a number on Tampa Bay. Welcome back to Kansas City. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. First down from the 10. Okoye gets the call. The play is stopped after a gain of a yard at the 11. So Christian Okoye with some big runs on that last drive. They produced 3 points in the lead for the Kansas City Chiefs, who stopped on first down on the next possession. 57 yards. That's a very successful day when you consider that Christian Okoye in 6 games coming into this contest against Denver at only 181 yards against the Broncos defense.
But Denver changing some fronts, or moving their safeties up and back. 2nd and 9. Short drop.
Check that, Bill Jones trying to get out of the backfield between the linebackers. Tangled up. No flag, though.
Well, DeBerg wanted interference on Mecklenburg. Mecklenburg had been walking up on the line, getting up there on those guards, trying to stop that inside running game of the Chiefs. And then just before the snap, he and Dennis Smith, the safety, did kind of start backpedaling, getting back into their normal positions. Mecklenburg coming back, he was able to get over there and get a good jam with that tight end. This guy right here, you know, all he does is goes out each and every week and makes a bunch of big plays. A lot of things you can't tell if you just look at stats. Plays like that.
And now a huge third down for Kansas City. Otherwise, they've got to punt it from their own end zone. 3rd and 9 to Berg. Throwing it off the shoulder pad of the defensive back, Wyman Henderson. So a breakdown in communication there, but pressure again coming on Steve DeBerg.
Mecklenburg lining up as a right end. Bull rushed on Big John Alt, the left tackle, and then at the end just kind of jumped over him, getting up into DeBerg's vision.
And a little mini victory early in the second half for the Denver Broncos in that war for field position. Parker from his own goal line hangs up a high one. Vance Johnson waiting to the 45. Johnson with a nice return all the way to the Kansas City 40-yard line. So that's where Denver, trailing by 3, will start with the ball when we come back on their second offensive series in the second half.
It didn't happen in Germany, nor in Japan. It happened right here. An all-new car, born of intelligent engineering. The Oldsmobile 88 Royale. You've seen it, now come drive it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Now, get 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months.
With service to more cities across the Atlantic than any other U.S. airline, Delta now makes it easier than ever for the people of America to get to know the people of Europe.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour.
Sia.
Guten Tag.
Grüezi.
Delta, we love to fly in shows.
Здравствуйте. VHS camcorders just got into shape. The new Sharp Slim Cam, the smallest, lightest, full-size VHS camcorder in the world. Noticeably sleek, slim, and fat-free, with all the great features of the big camcorders. 12-to-1 zoom, 1 lux, shoulder stability, and uses VHS tapes that fit right in your VCR. The Sharp Slim Cam, the world's smallest full-size VHS camcorder. It's the great new shape in camcorders.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's very important to remember, especially at a time like this, when it's very deserted and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
Welcome back once again to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. And a drive starting in Kansas City territory for the 4th time today for the Denver Broncos. At the Chiefs' 40-yard line. Let's see if they can capitalize finally. Trailing by 3. Gaston Green had a big first half. Can he turn the corner? No. The defensive back coming up big. Porter making the stop.
Well, Porter makes a great play here because he plays the lead block by Perriman off with his hands, able to go ahead, stretch it out to the sideline, and make the tackle. You know, Kansas City used to be so dominant in their defensive secondary. Well, through the draft, they've gotten some guys to help them. Watch Porter, 27, play off Perriman, a very fine blocker as a fullback, and make the play for a yard gain. That's all pro defensive backfield is making an awful lot of good things happen today.
2nd and 9. Inside the 39. Pressure on Elway. Finds a man over the middle. It's Michael Young on the reception. He is short of the first down. Inside the 32. Well, you talked about Rob Thomas, a good possession receiver. Michael Young, great hands for Denver.
I mean, it's a mirror image over for Denver here. Chris Martin coming around the back door. Elway more or less pump fakes him in the air. Then when he starts coming down, he throws it over his head. You'll see Young getting in here between a couple of defenders, just getting the ball in, getting it down.
Needs just a little bit more than a yard as Young came up. Looked like he may have turned his ankle.
Watch the keeper. There it is.
John Elway, he's got the first down inside the 30. Derek Thomas on the stop. John Elway, 5 rushing touchdowns this year for the Denver Broncos, more than any of the running backs for the Broncos. He does not mind taking a hit.
Well, I think what you're seeing is Elway saying, hey, last year was a bad season. A lot of things were bad. I'm going to do everything I can to make this team successful. And sometimes he just says, hey, I'm the man. I'm going to make it happen. And 5 touchdowns, I think, kind of bears that out.
First and 10 to the 29. Elway just gets rid of it. Green in the neighborhood, so no grounding as Elway took a shot at the end of the play. But when we talked with John yesterday, he was so positive. He said, hey, we were 3-7 last year. We're coming into this game at 7-3. This is not the end of the world if we don't win this game, and with good reason, because they've got a last play schedule. When you look down the road for the Denver Broncos, they're at Seattle, then they've got New England, Cleveland, Phoenix, and San Diego. Much easier schedule than what's left for Marty Schottenheimer in Kansas City, with Cleveland coming up, then Seattle, San Diego, San Francisco, and the Raiders. So it truly isn't the end of the world if they don't come out on top today. Second down now from outside the 29. Pressure again. And Elway on the move into the end zone. Touchdown. Mark Jackson. Was he over the line of scrimmage, though, when he released the ball? I thought he was over the line of scrimmage. Touchdown, Denver. But did Elway cross the 29-yard line?
Well, the kicking team for Denver, if you're a Denver fan, you want to say, hey, guys, let's go. Hurry up. Get out there. You'll see here from our sideline view, getting out of pressure. Well, I tell you what.
Very close. Will there be a review of that play?
Those Denver guys are lined up. They say, hurry up.
They want to get the extra point underway right away. I've never seen a hurry-up extra point, but this is the first.
Those Kansas City guys are just dragging it back, saying, no way. We're going to look at this.
Now, remember.
Now, this is a view that we can't really see what we need to see. Elway being more or less crunched in the pocket by Moss and Thomas just gets out. It's hard to tell how far over the line of scrimmage he was. Well,
it did look like he was inside the 29, though, when he released the ball. That was the line of scrimmage.
The field, but the quarterback was not beyond the line of scrimmage. The play is being reviewed.
Well, that's self-explanatory. We'll take another look at this from the low sideline and see the ball snapped just inside the 30. Now you'll see Martin collapsing here, forcing him out. Elway scrambling, trying to see a receiver. Oh, there's somebody. That ball's gone. Where is his feet? Now, I think that the ruling would have to be something like breaking the plane of the goal line. Was his body, was the ball breaking the plane of the line of scrimmage? Okay, now we can see his feet here. And now, you know, we are impartial viewers here, Joel, but I'd have to think that he's over. You know, Don Mikowski had a play like this up in Green Bay a couple of years ago that beat us. And it was a very controversial call, and the officials had some rule changes implemented that year.
After further review, the play stands.
Touchdown, Denver, and Mark Jackson.
Well, once again, Elway getting out of the pocket makes the big play. Marty Schottenheimer is getting sick of it.
He's been done in before. You're wondering why Jackson's hanging onto the ball. Well, he came into the game the leading receiver for the Denver Broncos, but he didn't have a touchdown catch until that last grab.
Well, the replay booth tells us now that there was inconclusive evidence to overturn the play called on the field. So, touchdown Denver.
And once again, a Denver lead of 4 points, 17-13 after the Treadwell extra point. So they finally capitalized on a drive that started in Kansas City territory. It started at the Chiefs' 40-yard line, 5 plays. And officially a 29-yard pass play to Mark Jackson for the touchdown. That one will be argued in the Kansas City area for a few days until the next play that is called as a reviewable play stands.